Good morning, boys and girls. It is Miss Olvera reporting for day 4 of our daily read out louds. We are reading a chapter book by Dan Gutman. So on Tuesday, what day is today? Friday. So on Tuesday, we read chapters 1 and 2. On Wednesday, we read chapters 3 and 4. On Thursday, we read chapters 5 and 6. And so today, we will read 7 and 8. 7 and 8. And then I will post another video with 9 and 10. So we could be done with the book, and that way you can AR test on it. And so you can see what happens too, right? Okay, so the last chapter we read was chapter 6, Cowabunga. Now I hope you all listened to that video, so that way you can keep up with what is happening. These books are my favorite. It is one of my favorite chapter books. And so I'm excited that you are listening to it there at home. Okay, are you ready? Chapter 7. You should have been there. That's the name. That is the title of chapter 7. It says, "It's time for the big car smash," Miss Sue shouted into her bullhorn. "Car smash?" we all asked. "What's that?" She didn't need to tell us the answer, because at that moment, a tow truck, it came around the corner, driven by art custodian, Miss Lazar, and she was towing a junky old car. Miss Lazar put the car in the corner of the playground. Then she got out of the tow truck with a sledgehammer. "One swing for $1. Ooh, I would like to do that, she shouted. Then she took the sledgehammer, swung it over her head, and smashed whoosh, the windshield of the car. It was cool. Me and the guys, we all rushed to go get in line. "Sorry," Miss Sue told us, "for safety reasons, only grown-ups are allowed to participate in the car smash." Bummer in the summer. Smashing stuff up with a sledgehammer is cool. I can't wait till I'm old enough to smash stuff up with a sledgehammer. I will do that like all day long. And if you ask me, they should have a whole TV channel devoted to smashing stuff up with sledgehammers. "Why would anyone want to damage a car on purpose?" asked Andrea. "Well, because it's fun," all the guys told her. "Well, I don't approve of violence," she said. "What do you have against violins?" I asked. Ugh, Andrea rolled her eyes. Just about all the dads and a few moms paid for a turn to hit the car with the sledgehammer. And a few of them, they hit it over and boom, over and over and over again. By the time they were finished, there was hardly anything left of the car, but it was cool. It was time to play toilet seat toss. Oh, Miss Sue shouted into her bullhorn. Toilet seat toss? It's a lot like horseshoes, except that you toss toilet seats, so it has the perfect name. Instead of metal stakes in the ground, there was toilet bowl plungers. It cost $1 to toss a toilet seat, and if you got a ringer, you would win a plastic bag with a goldfish in it. I decided not to play that game. Why do you think he didn't play that game? "It's time for the beauty pageant," Miss Sue shouted into her bullhorn, and everyone came rushing to the stage. There was a curtain across the front so we could only see the contestants that were in high heels. Miss Sue asked everybody to donate $1 to sponsor one of the contestants. Me and the gang, we pushed our way to the front so we could get a good view. "I don't like beauty pageants," Andrea said. "Beauty pageants, they just disrespect women." "I agree," said Emily, who always agrees with everything that Andrea says. "That's good," Miss Sue announced, "because there are no women in this beauty pageant." She pulled open the curtain. Guess who was standing there? Mr. Docker, Mr. Loring, Mr. Mackey, Mr. Louie, Mr. Granite, Dr. Brad, Mr. Tony, and Mr. Harrison. And they were all wearing bathing suits, and high heels. Oh my goodness. Aren't they lovely? Asked Miss Sue. The men paraded up, so they went up and down the stage while the song, "Isn't She Lovely?" played. Sorry. Everybody was laughing their heads off. I thought I was going to pee in my pants. Miss Sue had us clap our hands really loud to decide which one of the contestants was the most beautiful. Y'all want to see the picture? Okay, I'll show you the picture right now. The loudest applause was for Mr. Tony. So, well, he won. I think it was because he has the most hair on his back. And Miss Sue, she put a crown on his head. Oh my goodness, this is super funny. You all ready to see? Look at that. That is hilarious. She said it here too. It was hilarious. And we got to see it live and in person. You should have been there. After that, we all went over to the soccer field again where Miss Sue had set up a giant catapult that shot pumpkins across the field. People paid $1 to shoot a pumpkin. Then we went into the gym and we watched a game of donkey basketball. Yeah, with real donkeys. There was also a dunk tank, a dress your pet contest, a teacher tug of war, a mud wrestling contest for parents, and a bug eating contest. Ew. I went to all of them and spent almost all my money that my parents had given me. I only had $1 left. The line on the giant thermometer, it kept getting higher and higher and higher. We have now raised $4,000. Miss Sue shouted into her bullhorn, and then everybody went, "Wow, that's so awesome!" Okay, so that's the end of chapter 6. Chapter 7. We are going to chapter 8. It's called Getting Desperate. Okay, here we go. Last chapter. $4,000 seemed like a lot of money to me, but it wasn't enough. We were still $1,000 short of our goal, and so we were running out of time. And it was getting late in the afternoon. People, they were starting to leave the carnival. Oh, no. It didn't look like we were going to make it. If we didn't reach $5,000, there would be no playground equipment. Mr. Klutz would not be spending a night in jail. Bummer in the summer. Don't go home, people, Miss Sue shouted into her bullhorn. You need to buy a piece of duct tape first. Duct tape. Why would we buy a piece of duct tape? Somebody asked. So we can duct tape Mr. Klutz to the wall, Miss Sue replied. Huh? What? Asked Mr. Klutz. I'm guessing Mr. Klutz didn't know, right? Miss Sue grabbed a roll of duct tape and announced that for $1, anyone could buy a piece and use it to tape Mr. Klutz to the wall. Boy, does she have pretty good ideas, right? That sounds like fun, said Ryan. Let's do it, said Michael. I always wanted to duct tape Mr. Klutz to a wall, said Neil, the nude kid. Okay, I guess, said Mr. Klutz. Duct taping the principal to a wall sounded like a weird idea to me, but a whole bunch of people lined up to buy a piece of duct tape. One by one, they put their tape on Mr. Klutz and attached him to the wall of the school. Soon, he was almost completely covered with duct tape, and all you could see were Mr. Klutz's mouth and his bald head popping out over on the top. He couldn't even move. It looked like a turtle was taped to the wall. I had to admit, it was pretty hilarious. Now throw Nerf balls at him, shouted Miss Sue. 50 cents per throw. You want to see the picture of him duct tape? Ooh, I'll show you when I finish this page. Ready? It says, we threw Nerf balls at Mr. Klutz until none of us had any money left. That means they probably spent like everything, right? We raised another $300, announced Miss Sue, and she put the money into the money box, and she raised another line on the giant thermometer. But we still have $500. We were $700 short. Wait, no, let me backtrack. We still didn't have $5,000. We were $700 short. So people put away their wallets and started packing up their stuff to go. Wait! Miss Sue shouted into the bullhorn. I have an announcement to make. Everybody stopped what they were doing. I looked at Miss Sue. Alexia looked at Miss Sue. Mr. Klutz, well, he was duct taped to the wall. He looked at Sue. There's Mr. Klutz. Everybody was looking at Miss Sue. You could hear a pin drop. Well, not really, because nobody brought any pins with them, right? Miss Sue reached into her purse and pulled out her checkbook. I'm writing a personal check for $700, she said. What? Said Mr. Klutz. You're going to donate your own money? No, said Miss Sue. The money will come out of my daughter Alexia's college fund. What? Gasped everybody. Mom! Yelled Alexia. Miss Sue wrote out a check and went over to give it to Mr. Klutz, who was still duct taped to the wall, by the way. Don't do it, Mom, shouted Alexia. I want to go to college someday. I really don't think it's a good idea for you to raid Alexia's college fund, said Mr. Klutz. The new playground equipment will be enjoyed by hundreds of students, said Miss Sue. The college fund was only for one. But she's your daughter, shouted Mr. Klutz. Well, college isn't for everybody, said Miss Sue. Your mom is weird, I whispered to Alexia. I told you she goes overboard, Alexia whispered back. She falls out of boats a lot? I asked. No, I already told you. She gets carried away. Miss Sue wanted to put the check in Mr. Klutz's pocket, but he was covered with duct tape. So she tried to stick it in his mouth. No, I refuse to accept that check, said Mr. Klutz, closing his lips so she couldn't put the check in his mouth. We don't need the playground equipment. Please, Miss Sue begged, trying to pry his mouth open, so she's trying to open it with her fingers so she could put the check inside. Take my daughter's college fund. Don't you care about our children? Mr. Klutz refused to open his mouth. Well, that was that. We weren't going to reach $5,000. That meant no playground equipment, no night in jail for Mr. Klutz. Here's a picture of her trying to put the check in his mouth. Finally, Miss Sue gave up trying to stick the check in Mr. Klutz's mouth. She ripped it into little pieces. Then she fell to her knees and began to cry. It was really sad. Alexia went over to give her a hug. That's when the most amazing thing in the history of the world happened. But I'm not going to tell you what it is. Okay, I'll tell you. But you have to read the next chapter. So, na 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 boo boo on you.